What's up, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on the Discovery TD5 project doing a fuel pump today because this one, if you saw on the other videos, it squeals like a pig and I'm not sure why, so I'm a bit scared to dig into it, but I've got a new fuel pump over there and we're going to do that today. I'll show you guys what tools you need and what you need to do this job. So let's go over the bench and I'll show you. So now we're over at the bench, you can see, ignore all that. You can see we've got a new fuel pump from, this is from All Makes. I will link in the description below where I got this pump and where this kit from, because this kit came with the pump, the new gasket for the fuel pump, a fuel filter, because if you're doing this, you've got to purge the system anyways. And if you're purging the system anyway, you might as well replace the fuel filter while you're at it. It should be an easy enough job. So anyways, socket set, WD-40, hammer, a load of screwdrivers, just get a few flatheads and a few Phillips, some pliers, some needle nose pliers if you have them, some jump leads which are for the battery there, because when we purge the system, I just want to have enough power between both batteries to purge it properly, so I've got jump leads. I also have cat litter to soak up any fuel that I spill on the floor, because obviously I'm in a workshop, don't want diesel all over the floor, so we use the cat litter to pick that all up. But this is everything you should really need. Now I will say it's worth getting a new lock ring as well for the top of the fuel tank, which is one of these guys. So it's worth getting one of them if you have the extra little bit of budget. It's always good to replace them because they could be a bit crusty. So if your fuel pump's gone, you've probably got a crusty ring. Yeah. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go back over there. We'll start pulling the carpet up. I'm going to try and do this in the way that we don't cut the carpet and do it nicely. Also, another thing just on the tools, you can get a tool for taking these off. Now, I looked at this and I went to order one the other day, and the only one that's currently in stock is from Beermac and it's like £45, and I'm not willing to pay £45. If I can do it with a screwdriver, I'd do it with a screwdriver, but 45 quid for this tool, or Paddock Spares has one for I think about £15. I'll link both of them just in case you guys really fancy going and getting that expensive Beermac one, but personally I've done a couple of these without one and I don't think you necessarily need it. It will probably make your life easier, but I'm not going to bother. But anyways, let's crack on. So now we're at the back of the truck. I've flooded this area with light, so I'm sorry if it's a bit bright. It's just so you guys can see a bit more clearly as to what I'm actually doing. So the fuel pump is here in this dent. So what we need to take out is this trim here, this one along here. These two pieces can be a pain because these Phillips can be really crusty, and then hopefully we're going to be able to pull this, because you're meant to take all this out and this side, but I'm going to try and do it with pulling the carpet out because it doesn't go very deep underneath these two bits of trim. So I'm hoping I can do that, fold it forward and then get to the fuel pump and do it that way. So I'll stick you on the time-lapse camera and crack on doing this. So now you've got this trim off, you gotta give it a bit of a tug to get it out each end. Got these guys out. Now what I'm hoping to do is grab this carpet and just pull it out, you see? Oh, it's just, oh no, that's ripped. Okay, that's great. So hopefully this side's better. This side's actually wet, so that's a good sign for me. There we go. See how it's pulled out on that side? Obviously be careful you don't rip it like I've ripped it on that side. So I'll get this side off and then we'll come back. I've got the carpet up, and as you can see it is disgusting. I actually have no screws, like they're there but they're not exactly pristine, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to get them out of a screwdriver, so I'm going to have to drill the heads off, then take them out, and do it that way. Hopefully your guys' ones are a bit better, but I'm gonna have to do this now. So I've got the cover off. It took some persuasion. It's down there, drilled it out, beat all these through, and I'm gonna have to replace all of them. I might replace that as well. But here is your fuel pump. So this is your main plug. I'm not sure what this guy is. I don't actually know what he is. Not seen it before. Normally it's just this plug, these hoses, and they are color coded in some way. As you can see, that one's green, that one's, I'll say that's the white, that's the black, and then I'm not sure what that one is. So what you want to do is unplug this guy, take a photo or mark which ones are which. Now when you unplug these, they will spill a bit of fuel, that's to be expected, but just have some rags. And I'm gonna unplug that quickly. I'll stick it back on the head cam and get these guys out. So now you've got your fuel hoses unclipped. What you're going to go ahead and do is get your screwdriver or your tool that you've purchased, and you're going to put it against these lugs that are on your ring. You're going to take that and you're just going to and as you can see, the fuel pump is actually spring loaded, so don't panic when it pops out at you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ring off, grab the fuel pump and wiggle him on out. There we go. There is one fuel pump. So now I've got my fuel pump over there, my new one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these old clips because the new fuel pump actually comes with them on, so you might as well replace them. You know, if you're doing it, do it right. So like numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and now what we're going to do is grab our new pump. So now we're going to take our new seal, put the seal in first, make sure it's sat in there correctly. Like so. Move these guys out of the way. So I've just put a screwdriver there just to hold those out of the way. And what I'm going to do now is take our nice new fuel pump and I'm going to dunk him, hand you guys out of the way for a second, dunk him in, mind out for the sender, in it goes, easy as that, he says. There we go. Right, so we are in part of the way, have to stress part of the way. Now this is the worst bit. Now if you see on your fuel pump you have a little nub here that locates in there, so what I'm going to do is take this ring, this replacement ring. The old ring wasn't actually that bad, to be fair. We're going to take this, we're going to push down, locate the pump and turn and hope that it locks in. Now this is the only time I'll say this is when that pump tool really comes in. as you can see, when you plug them back in with these things already in it, you get a 1 click, 2 clicks. See how it sits in there? That's how it should be. Make sure it's right in. Obviously you can take these clips out if you want to. I'm just doing it this way because this is the way I've always done it. That one's in. Push them back, let him in. Like so. And then we plug our pump plug back in. Cool. And now I'm going to go switch ignition, make sure that it doesn't spray fuel everywhere. Now I can hear it purring away. Perfect, that's exactly how you want it to be. Right, so fuel pump is in. All we got to do is put the cover back on there, fold the carpet back, refit the strip, and then that's the fuel pump done. So if you're not doing a fuel filter, that's it. Skip along to, I'll put a timestamp and I'll put a link thingy in the comments or the description, wherever the timestamps go, to the bleeding process or the purging process of the TD5, because it will purge itself. So skip to that bit. If not, we're going to go do the fuel filter now. So excuse the bright light next to me, it's just so I can try and show you guys where the fuel pump is. Not fuel pump, fuel filter is. So just behind this back right tyre, if you look in there, get my head out of the way, you can see the fuel filter just here. This is your fuel filter. So I've already sprayed this WD-40. Just try and loosen it up because they're going to be really crusty. What I'd suggest doing is draining it, so there's a little bung on the bottom. Twizzle that, drain it, and then take it off. I'm just going to drain it, take it off, and I'll show you guys what they look like when they're off. So I've got the fuel filter off now, and as you can see in here, I have a plug sat here. This could be plugged into the bottom of your fuel filter. I forgot to mention this. So if I go over to my fuel filter over here, you can see I have this guy. This is obviously your drain, or take that off. So most TD5s will have it, is a water sensor for the fuel filter. And you unscrew that off the old filter, screw it onto your new one, plug it in. If any water goes through your system, it'll tell you. Now, the person that modified this truck has taken it off. Why? I don't know, to be completely honest with you. So I need to get hold of one of them and replace it, but for now I'm just going to replace this filter and then go from there. So I'm going to get a little bit of diesel, rub it around the rim of this so it's not dry, bang it on up in there, tighten it up, and then purge the system. So let's do it. And then, as if by magic, we have a brand new All Makes 4x4 fuel filter. Not sponsored, just who I use all the time, because their parts are cheap and they work. So now we're going to purge the air from the system. What I've done is I've hooked up a spare battery to my battery, so I have enough voltage to do it, just in case. Just click my voltage meter on, make sure it's all working. Yeah, about 12.5 volts. Perfect. So what we're going to do is going to turn the ignition to position 2. As you can hear back here, the pump is running, doing its thing, humming away. Sounds 1,000 times better than what my old one does. Now you're going to leave this for 3 minutes. So find something to do for 3 minutes, or go watch another one of my videos for 3 minutes and come back. That sounds like a good idea. And now I just need to put all the carpet and everything back together. Could do with a bit more magic from that fuel filter, to be honest. Awesome. All back together. Love that magic. Could do with that more often, to be honest. So the fuel pump has now been on for 3 minutes. It has stopped, so it stopped making noise. You can see all the lights on the dash. Now what we've got to do now is we've got to get in, hold the throttle all the way down, turn the ignition until it gets to 600 RPM, as in when the truck starts and gets 600 RPM. Now you're only doing this in 30-second intervals, no longer than 30 seconds, or you're going to burn your starter motor out. This is another reason why, if you've done a full fuel system, you've done the harness doesn't need purging actually, but you've done all your work up here. If you're doing your fuel pump, you might as well do your fuel harness, your injector harness I should say. I've got a video for that, I'll put there or up there, whichever side it's meant to be on. So now we're going to hop in, crank her over, see if she starts. Fingers crossed it's all purged nicely. So now we're back in the truck. I'm going to push my clutch down as well, into neutral, fuel accelerator, all the way to the floor. See what happens. Simple as that. She's alive. Come in, away, nicely. And it's nice and quiet. I can't hear that fuel pump wheeling away. Yep, silent. Perfect. Literally exact results we wanted. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope this was a massive help to you guys. I'm now going to go ahead and do an EGR delete on this thing because it's got a real dodgy one. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, give me a comment, everything helps. Let me know what you want to see done to a Discovery 2 next, and I'll try and do it for you. As always, go out there and get muddy.